Breakfast sandwiches are one of my all-time favorite foods, and as soon as I learned to prep them for the freezer so I could have them every weekday, it was a total game changer. The first thing that you need to know is how to prepare the eggs in an easy way. I use a muffin tin and I just spray it with a little bit of Pam. You can do as many as 24 or 36 eggs all at once here. Little pro tip with cracking the eggs, do it on a flat surface instead of the edge of your counter. It reduces the likelihood of you breaking the yolk, and it means there's less shells that's going to end up when you crack the egg. So I just crack those in there. I season them with salt and pepper, and I pop these into a 350 Fahrenheit oven for 10 minutes, and they're going to be perfect if you follow my instructions. Next up, let's talk about the English Muffin. These are awesome. They have just 150 calories and a way better texture than just plain old white bread. I use a fork to open these up because they have this beautiful texture on the inside that if you slice into it with a knife, which you'll see in just a second, it kind of squishes all those little craters and it takes away from that awesome, airy texture. You can see here, I'm just using a sharp knife to slice them. This is totally fine if this is what you want to do. I just like the way they break open naturally. I'm adding in a little bit of deli meat for extra texture, extra protein. I'm using honey smoked ham here. It's lean, it's high in protein, but you could easily use, smoked turkey, or you could use Cajun chicken, or even roast beef would be awesome in here. I actually had some leftover turkey bacon from our turkey bacon hash recipe. If you like turkey bacon, you should go watch that. And this was amazing too. You can totally omit this too if you're vegetarian, but I think it really does add a lot to the sandwich in terms of how satisfying it is. I set it all up assembly line style. Each sandwich gets its meat. And then what I do is I make a little bit of Chipotle Mayo to take this to the next level. And here's how to actually make it right. Most people just add this Chipotle powder to some mayo and you miss out on a ton. Add a tablespoon or so of water to this Chipotle powder and then mix it with a fork until you get a paste. What this does is it hydrates the Chipotle powder and actually allows it to dissolve and use its flavor into the low-fat mayonnaise that I'm using, which by the way is amazing for 50 calories a tablespoon. And I just whisk that all together to give me a nice, spicy, smoky spread that takes this sandwich honestly to the next level. And it's got to be something like 50 cents a serving, so you can't beat it. So I just spread each of these sandwiches with about a tablespoon or so of my Chipotle mayo. And now you have something that's more flavorful than a McDonald's McMuffin, but it's a fraction of the price and it has more protein. I pull my eggs out at 10 minutes and you can see they're starting to cook, but they're not fully cooked yet. At this point, I hit them with just 10 grams of low-fat mozzarella on top. This keeps the egg all bound together, which makes assembling your breakfast sandwich a lot easier. You pop it back in the oven for 5 minutes. Then what I like to do is just prepare my station and get all my little sheets of aluminum foil out. As you can see, my cheese has melted and it's kind of stuck the egg into a nice little puck. And after those next 5 minutes, now the egg is just perfectly jammy in the center. It's gooey. It's not runny, but it's also not dry and hardened. You know how it gets like that green ring around the yolk. Then I just flip all my tops onto the bottoms. I'm pretty sure there's like this meme floating around about gay couples and how you just match the tops with the bottoms or something. If you know anything about that, just let me know in the comments. I'm not too sure about that. And now we've got all our individual sandwiches ready to rock. And I just wrap these up in foil. I bring the sides together and then I bring the top towards the bottom. Again, that same old theme coming back. And then I just tightly wrap those. And these can be frozen just like this. And you can pull these out of the freezer in 6 months and they'll be fantastic and fresh as the day you froze them. I do recommend you just let them cool for a few minutes before you wrap them up. Otherwise that steam can get trapped in the foil and make them a little bit soggy. Here's my favorite way to reheat these. I put these in a pan and I put a heavy lid on top of it and I heat it up with just a tablespoon of water under that lid. And then I give it a flip after 5 minutes and I do the same thing on the other side. And the lid actually kind of compresses it almost panini style into this beautiful, melty, cheesy, steamy breakfast sandwich. It is so fantastic. It's got the mayo, it's got the jammy egg. These things are absolutely next level and the macros on them are so fantastic. Check this out. And hey, if you like high protein sandwiches, you'll love our high protein Philly cheesesteak video. So check that one out too.